Greetings! It is Thursday, August 26th. This is my last day of Sir Princess this week before they are transferred. Oh. And Sir Princess went to orientation with me, but they didn't leave the car and I didn't get any pictures. Yesterday was kind of an emotional roller coaster from going to, oh yeah, we don't have your senior APs, to we're not accepting this one because you're coming in with the maximum already. Sorry! Or they also visited Julie because we went out to ice cream to talk about quill things. There's an actual point to this video. It is not just saying what I'm up to because I was inspired. And you don't just have to say what you're up to because I think they get kind of boring. And I would like personally to tie in some viewers and all of that fun stuff. Friend of mine, who's Mr. McMean, because he has one more credit than I do for college, who I won't mention by name because he's not part of the group and that wouldn't be fair to him. But anywho, he was saying something about friends because he's dorming there. And when he was saying that part of his mixed feelings was about friends and everything, I thought that was kind of strange because this is like Mr. McPopular, besides for Mr. McMean. But then he said something kind of important, which really struck, was the friends that he had before in high school were really the friends that he wanted to have, not so much these new friends. Which, it kind of ties all into this and everything, and I'm going to wrap this all up and make it pretty. So, basically, I have some thoughts on creating yourself and all of that fun stuff and choosing what's important and priorities and everything and friends, because he could have also had the dorm complex, or not the dorm complex, the summer camp complex, which is what a few of these people who I met at a writing camp my freshman year called it, where like at summer camp when you know nobody and you just cling to these friends and you talk about how you're going to talk to each other forever and then you never contact them ever again, which is pretty much what happened. It's a summer camp complex, which I imagine would happen in dorms. And in new schools, it hasn't actually happened to me because everywhere I turn is somebody else who I graduated with. Kind of weird. But anywho, that's one theory of everything. They always say everything, well, they, like older people, always say that this is the time to like invent yourself and everything. And I don't know if they say it so much in middle school because my middle school years were kind of bleh. They said it a lot in high school, that this is the time to like get your resume and invent yourself and express yourself and explore your options and do all of this other stuff, which you both can and cannot do at the same time. I never drove in high school at all. I got my license the Monday after the last day of classes, so I didn't drive. If I needed a ride, my parents drove me, or I took the late bus. But that limited it, so I couldn't stay until 12 o'clock on most times because my parents would get angry. You're limited because, like I said, you're limited. His parents tell you, well, you can't do this and you can't do this and I don't want you doing this and everything. I mean, at our school, we can even, like, we weren't supposed to walk around the schools after, like, 2:20 or something, which nobody followed. Nobody followed, especially the seniors, because it was just ridiculous. And so now it's time for college. Now they're saying this is the time to express yourself and invent yourself, which I think you can do a lot more than in high school, because at the same time there are a lot of clubs and activities, so because you're still in that school environment when there's everything to like tie you together, but at the same time you have much more freedom. And really the freedom is there a lot more than it was in high school, because it kind of fosters the environment of your adults now, and with adults also comes your own like money and stuff, which is fun. At the same time, you're kind of limited because you also have to focus on like your career, and you're limited by money and not having a free bank account. Personally, being a freshman into college, I don't really know what they'll say when I graduate, but I have a feeling at some point I'll probably hear, well, this is the time to invent yourself, because isn't it always the time? You can always reinvent yourself, always, and it's quite nifty and dandy and awesome. But at the same time, you're going to be faced with like brick walls and things that won't make that so easy, which will happen at every stage in your life. So personally for me, leading up to like graduation from high school is like the seedlings, and you're just kind of like springing out. And then in college it's really the basis, like the trunk of everything, because that's when you learn, well, this is important to me and this isn't important to me. Like at this point in time, I want to be career focused, or I want to be party focused, and really what you do now will affect you for the rest of your life. If you want to contact your old friends or find new friends or do any of that stuff, it's going to affect you for the rest of your life. I mean, it's not going to be set in stone, but it's going to affect it. So I think college is really the foundation of finding yourself, because you're not always limited by, you know, parents and everything. And I just think that that's really when it starts. And then once you graduate from that and there's no longer that strict environment and everything, well, that kind of like strict but loose, which is an oxymoron, then it's like the branches and the flowers and all of that pretty fancy schmancy stuff. Those are my thoughts. Your thoughts on what is the best time to invent yourself and find out your priorities and everything. Put them in the thingamajig. And going back on the original point of him saying that the reason that he wasn't making friends so much was because he wanted to stay in touch with his old friends. I think, isn't that the point of why we're doing Sir Princess? Is to stay in touch. And because we've set that as one of our priorities and we've discovered about ourselves that that's important. So yes, that's all I have to say. I'm not sure if it was just useless rambling or if it was something worthwhile. But yeah, and I will see you on video next week. Anyway, doodle!